everyone? This is Bevin, and welcome to the Seila podcast, which is a talkback podcast to the novel The Seila Emergence, now available on roguematter.com. We go in depth behind the scenes with Seila creator James Mascia, who's in the house right now. Wave, James. What up?
Hello.
New installments of the novel and episodes of the podcast are available the same day every month. Join the movement. Go rogue. roguematter.com. Now available on an app. Woo! James, how are you today?
I'm alive.
You're alive?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Uh-huh.
I just dropped something. That's how excited I am. So, it's funny when I don't know if we've talked about this, but I really thought this was going to be a comic book when I was assigned this because you have a comic book company.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us about Drin Productions? Because I don't believe we've talked about that yet.
Well, Dren Productions is the company that I created, about 10 years ago now.
Wow.
And we've been doing, we started off with just a novel. It was called High School Heroes.
Okay.
And that expanded into, several sequels. And then we did a comic book. And then we did, a comic book about, Edgar Allan Poe, and it just kept blossoming and blossoming from there. And now we have, I don't even know how many different publications, and about half of them, I guess you could say, are comic books.
Yeah, no, you have a lot of comic books. And I believe you just went to a couple of Comic-Cons recently, which is exciting because, those didn't happen for a while. How have they been for you?
Oh, they've been okay. Nothing exciting. A lot less people, I think, were showing up in the ones that I've been to than used to. So, hopefully things will get back on track in the coming months and years.
Yeah. Are you going to San Diego?
No, I will not be going to San Diego. We did that the one time, and I would love to do it again, but it has to be the timing has to be right for it.
The timing has to be right. Yeah, it's
traveling across the country with 1,000 pounds of stuff is not exactly a fun experience.
And those airline tickets are not cheap, from what I've been told.
Nope, not anymore.
No, I was told, literally. Short story. I was told yesterday by some friends of mine that are vendors. They found out last minute they were going to go to San Diego Comic-Con, and they had to pay over $1,800 for a plane fare. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's like going to Europe.
That's more expensive than going to Europe.
Yeah, no, of course. I think I spent maybe $1,200 to maybe go to South Korea, and that was flying across the globe. This is just flying to California. And I was like, really? It's that expensive to go to San Diego Comic-Con right now?
Yep. We had looked into going out west, just for the summer, and we said no.
Inflation, am I right?
Over $2,000 per ticket.
No, that sounds awful. Let's not do that.
I said, no, we're not doing that.
No. Until next time. But for now, I wanted to say I really am enjoying the story. So when we got to chapter 2, I was pleasantly surprised that it probably doubled in pages from what I recall of chapter 1 being. I found chapter 1 to be pretty short. And then when we got to chapter 2, I was like, oh, heck yeah, this is 88 pages of awesomeness, and I loves it. But okay, I need you to clarify something. So spoiler alert, guys, let's just kind of talk through what happens in this chapter. You do get a cliffhanger that somebody gets dropped off from one of the portals, and they are humans, and they are discovering that all the females that they collect are all pregnant, and one of them survives. And I think that's Athena that survives, correct? From the prequel?
That would be incorrect, actually.
Oh, so it's not Athena. I thought she was given a fake name when she said her name was Diana.
Nope. Diana is a completely different person. Athena is actually, we'll just say that she does not end up here. She ends up somewhere else.
Okay. So the prequel is kind of a tease because I thought that because you leave it open like she's falling through the portal and it's like, okay, so she's going to show up here at some point, and it's not. It's a completely different woman.
She like I said, Athena from the exile story ends up somewhere else. Somewhere else. She's not here.
Interesting. And it's so funny too because there's a lot of like debate on when these bodies are falling. They're falling into a lake and they're breaking their necks or the impact is killing them, but she survives, which begs the question, how is she surviving?
I'm just going to go with luck. I mean, it's absolute complete luck that she just doesn't die.
Okay. All right. I mean that's interesting. And all the fans online will be like, yeah, but if she fell down here, I mean, she could have fallen from a shorter distance, so therefore the impact would not crush her body, kind of thing.
Which would also be luck.
Which would also be luck. So yeah, I mean, sure, we'll just go with that. Go with luck. And I also love that we have you have people are starting to kind of team up. You're kind of getting more of your core people. Like you have an ensemble because I thought Howard, the sheriff Howard, was just going to be like a side character, and it turns out he's got like real meat.
Yeah.
And with the story, which is nice because I like him.
Yep, he is. He's one of our main characters.
He reminds me a little bit of like Hopper from Stranger Things, where he's just like kind of not the same thing, but he has a similar role because he's the sheriff and there's weird things happening in a small town and he's like, I don't know what to do with these things, but he's trying to do the right thing while also not killing and ruining his marriage.
That would be a wonderful, wonderful thing.
if he doesn't
if he doesn't ruin his marriage in the process.
Yeah,
his,
exactly.
His wife just doesn't understand that he's got stuff to do.
Yeah, and you would think, oh, I live in a small town. Everyone just needs to move to big cities because honestly, these things only happen in small towns. Ironically.
Well, it's where it can be kept secret.
True. That's where, news can't spread that quickly. And then we also have like a new character who is Betty Morris, but she's going by her. Is Marcy like her boss or her higher up?
We met Marcy prior to
Yes.
in one of the chapters, and she's kind of like the Lois Lane character almost.
Right.
And then Betty wants to be the Lois Lane type character. So that's where she gets in. She's like, she steals Marcy's ID.
Yeah.
Pretends to be her, as she goes, and she's like, well, I need a story and this one sounds interesting. No one else is going to do it. So let's
do it.
Let's cover it. Yeah.
Well, I was actually going to ask if Betty was inspired by anybody in particular in your life, or if it's just like, oh, this is a Lois Lane wannabe character.
Yeah, it's like the Lois Lane wannabe character. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I also think whenever something strange like this happens, there's always somebody that's wanting to get a story out of it, and then the cops like, well, you take a different approach because the cops are actually fine with Betty. They're like, oh God, press, but I mean, she's fine. She's innocent enough. I'll try and keep her out of our hair as much as possible.
Yep.
But yeah, the mystery unfolding is also very, very interesting too, because you also have like this short side story when Diana arrives that she gets kind of taken captive by a deranged older lightkeeper. He's creepy really fast.
Yeah. I was going for creepy. I wasn't really going for deranged on it. Like, he's just, I mean, he's a lonely old man and, he wants somebody to take care of and he finds somebody.
Yeah. Quickly and then just saves her, which, is very, very nice at first. But then he's like, oh, she's pregnant. I should keep her. And she can't leave. And that's what a nightmare to like go from one like reality to another reality that sharp turn quickly.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I was, like I said, I was going for kind of like a creepy vibe in that kind of plot arc. and I hope I achieved it.
You definitely did. Does Diana like when I was also reading the chapter 2, she looks up the moon and she kind of immediately registers what's happening. How does she just looks up the moon and she figures out where she was sent to the past that quickly?
Well, the fact is that our moon is very distinct. It has very distinct
Craters.
markings on it that
Yeah.
you look at it and it can't be anywhere else
Gotcha.
unless it has a twin somewhere in the galaxy. So
Which is
she,
possible.
of course it is. So she's supposed to have been sent to some other planet,
Mm-hmm.
and then she realizes, oh, this is not another planet. And so the only conclusion is, I mean, that it has to be the past because the world itself doesn't look like this anymore.
Correct. I mean, she could also think maybe it's a parallel universe. If we're gonna go comic book a little bit, it could be a parallel universe.
Well, fine. I didn't think of that, but fine.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like was she also like Athena also working? Was she also a scientist too, or was she, or do we find this out later more about her life?
She's not the same as Athena. She's
Okay,
just a regular
Joe
citizen.
Schmo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So she's not a same. Okay,
She is not the same.
no. Um, All right, so and then we also have a lovely moment where Evans and Robert starts calculating when another cannon fire might start happening again. Was that also inspired by any sort of phenomenon based upon the real cannon phenomenon? No.
No. I just
No.
was moving the story along.
Moving right along to the
Yeah,
story.
moving right along. Him being as smart as he is, being able to say, "Oh, it happened on this date, and then it happened on this date, and then it happened on this date," and noticing the pattern in it. That it's if the pattern continues, then it's going to happen on this day.
This date, yeah. Absolutely. And I love that Evans is like the UFO gun ho, like, I swear to God, I'm going to convince there's aliens out there. Imagine his disappointment when
And
it's
he's
just human beings.
and he's absolutely wrong. That's the whole thing. Like the
So
whole time, he's aliens, 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 and it's not aliens.
poor guy.
Hmm.
He so badly wants ET to just come crashing down.
Yes, he does.
And just he's trying really, really, really hard. So okay, so let's kind of recap all the ensemble cast characters so I make sure that I'm staying involved. So we also get introduced to, or did we already have Jackson? Did we meet Jackson before this chapter?
um, Maybe I'm trying to think. In the first chapter, it's possible we met him, but briefly.
Okay, because he's a bit of a dick. We'll just say it.
Yes. Hmm.
He's kind of antagonistic in this. So we have him. We have sheriff. We have the sheriff Howard.
Yes.
We have Betty, who is kind of taking a liking to another cop whose name is Mike.
Yeah.
Correct.
One of the deputies. Yes.
One of the deputies. There we go. That's the official title for that. And then we have Evans, who's kind of like the doctor. What's his official rank again?
He is an Air Force captain.
Air Force captain.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Which is going to probably be important later because he can fly an airplane.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing how that works?
Isn't that amazing how that works out, ladies and gentlemen? You're welcome. We're going to point that out for you that he is an Air Force captain. He can fly airplanes. And then we have Robert, who is also going by the alias Gray.
Yes.
And he's a work for hire for the government, kind of.
Yes. He's not
Yes.
officially an agent.
No.
But he is I guess, I mean, he's not really a mercenary, I guess. I don't know
No.
what you call him, but he is definitely like, hey, we need something done in an
Yeah.
unofficial capacity. You're gonna go and do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we have Katrina, which One of my favorite parts of this chapter was their interaction where they get into a fight. And I really enjoyed how you wrote how they use their environment
Mm-hmm.
to fight. What kind of research did you do for that?
Don't
No?
know. I can tell you that the description of the where they are is as accurate as I could make it. Like there's a real park there. There's a real church there where they go
Mm-hmm.
chasing around each other and everything. That stuff is as authentic as I could have made it. And just thinking like, hey, what could they possibly grab or use or do in this type of place?
No,
So,
it's just really cool because I don't know the first thing about fighting. So it's like whenever I
mhm.
see certain moves being written into dialogue or action items, I guess I should say, I'm like, oh, why did they come up with that? That's really clever. How did they research that? Blah 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 blah. Especially when you have a particular environment and you have ranking of like, she's a really good fighter, he's a really good fighter. Who's gonna come out on top? And technically, she would have if the sheriff hadn't showed up.
Correct.
So I guess she wins. But her interrogation was also really funny too. When she was like, "My name is the Lost Princess of Anastasia." I was like, "Oh my god, that's
Yeah,
funny. That's funny."
she
Did you have alternative answers for her interrogation?
no.
Okay.
It was the one thing that I could think of. Like what is the most sarcastic thing that she could possibly say at this point?
Yeah. It was well done, sir. It was well
Hmm.
done. I was like, "Oh yeah, she knows who she's messing with." And even how he even these characters are so cool. Even when Evans like demonstrates to Sheriff, he's like, "You got to let me interrogate her." He's like, "No, she's not going anywhere." He's like, "Just lock me in the cell. Come on, just lock me in the cell. Let me show
Hmm.
you how fast I can get out of your cell."
Yep.
That was
A
great.
single screw
A
in an
single
old style lock.
Can that actually happen?
I have no idea.
Okay, it looked really cool. I was like, "That's hilarious. That's hilarious. You guys need to get stronger locks."
Yep.
So there were aliens that Evans really wanted, and then he didn't get because it's just human beings. Would you be disappointed if human beings came through a portal and not aliens?
I don't know. I mean, it's still a portal. I mean, how that would still be cool.
I think it'd be cool as well. But I don't know. I feel like having aliens would make us one step closer to being in Star Wars land. And it's like, just give us Star Wars at this point. Like, there's definitely got to be aliens out there.
Well, there's they say it in the movie Contact. If there's no other life out there, it's an awful waste of space.
I do love that quote. It's a
Yes.
great quote.
Hmm.
Fantastic quote. Well, I want to keep chatting about this, but we're kind of left on this cliffhanger of all this stuff to go into the next chapter, which we have to wait for, which is fine as long as it's a nice long meaty chapter as well. Because of right now, the way it's kind of set up is that you got Evans, Robert, and Katrina that are all kind of colliding together. Not Evans necessarily yet with Katrina, but Robert and Katrina and Sheriff Howard are all kind of their worlds are intertwining. We have somebody falling through a portal, Diana, who is not Athena. Athena. There we go. I can say her name. And then we have, Betty is investigating. You have Evans discovering that the women are pregnant, early stages of pregnancy. Have I missed anything else that's going on?
The Diana trapped in the lighthouse.
Yeah, and Diana is, held hostage by a creepy old man, and she's discovered that, well, she tries to escape once, and then she looks up the moon, and she's like, no, I don't want to see this moon. She
Nope.
wants to see a Death Star. Kidding.
Yes.
And then we're left until the next chapter. Did you have a favorite moment from this chapter?
The one that you mentioned earlier, the where he breaks out of the cell.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part, because he's just like, you are so inadequate.
You don't understand that
Yeah.
she looks innocent, but she's not,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And we'll just see what happens from there.
Yep.
But before we go, James, where can the folks at home find you on the social webs and internet webs?
You just search up Dren Productions and you will find us.
Excellent.
DrenProductions.com, Dren Productions on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram.
And if you guys want to find out what happens to Diana, you got to tune in next time when we talk Chapter 3. But until then, this has been the Seila Fire Podcast, a talkback podcast for the Seila Fire Emergence. New installments of the novel and episodes of the podcast are available monthly. Check out roguematter.com or download the Rogue Matter app, because we're cool and we have an app, millennials and zennials, on iOS and Android to read the Seila Fire Emergence. Chapter 3 will be available July 13th. Seila Fire Podcast Episode 3 will also be available on the same day. I'm Bevin. Thanks for joining us, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.